Devin Haney and Bill Haney has gotten a lot of criticism from the boxing world, especially after the Ryan Garcia fight. Now, some may feel like it's fair, unfair, criticism is legit, constructive criticism, or the criticism may be too harsh. And newly criticism has come from Matchroom Boxing CEO Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has done a lot of business with Devin Haney. Eddie Hearn has made Devin Haney a rich man in the sport of boxing, right? And he had a recent interview with Andre Ward. Shout out to Andre Ward, Hall of Famer. And this is what Eddie Hearn had to say about Bill Haney still being in the corner working with Devin Haney, in which a lot of people have been saying, and I've said in the past that, especially when it was the lead up to the Linares fight, and I thought that Ben Davison was going to be the head trainer, right? And I said that, you know, with all these trainers, the Mickey Bays, you have Flo Mayweather Sr., had Ben Davison, all these different trainers, but yet Bill Haney was in the corner. It's going to be a matter of time where the chemistry is not going to be there. But of course, when you're winning, you know, everybody throws things under the rug. Especially remember the Lomachenko fight, right? Where Devin Haney got neutralized by Vasily Lomachenko. He neutralized his jab, and he's trying to tell his dad, like, yo, he figured me out. And Bill Haney couldn't give him the type of instruction that was needed for Devin Haney to actually execute and neutralize Loma. You feel me? It looked like it was discombobulated out there. It looked like Devin Haney was out there alone and it was confused and he was just searching for an answer, right? But Eddie Hearn finally have stated what others have been saying about the potential downfall within that system with the Haneys.
I think he has to relook at his team and his system. I think that he's dad, but is he necessarily the right person to take him forward strategically? I never liked this 3 or 4 trainer thing. All of a sudden, you've got these 4 guys going, no, and you'll go, that's when you need the one guy to look you in the eyes and saying, listen, this is what you need to do right now.
Now, let me tell you like this. I respect Bill Haney as a manager in the sport of boxing. I believe that he's a trailblazer. I think he's done wonderful with his son in terms of the business. And of course, in the beginning, of course, because he was winning, you know, having all these Mr. Miyagis to build and mold his son. But it comes a time when you hit the elite level. And it's safe to say that you need that elite person in that corner or that has that type of experience in the ring to give that type of proper instructions, to understand that feeling, to understand the game plan, to embody the game plan within that training camp, being hands-on trainer, right? And I don't think that Bill Haney has been that hands-on trainer. He's been more of a coordinator more than a hands-on trainer. Now, me and Bill Haney has gone back and forth. If y'all familiar with the channel, subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know y'all tuning into Punch Drunk Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine himself. If y'all familiar with the channel, y'all know that me and Bill Haney have gone back and forth, whether it's, you know, it was criticism, it was constructive criticism, and it was praise as well. And I've always talked about it. I remember when I was interviewing Bill Haney, I was talking about when Mickey Bay thought that he was going to be the head trainer, and he wasn't. Basically saying, nah, he ain't gonna be the head trainer. I'm gonna be the head trainer. But I'm like, yo, I just did an interview with Mickey Bay, and Mickey Bay said that he's happy to be the head trainer. And it looks like right there that he didn't even know what he was walking into, Mickey Bay. And that's going off me speaking to both of them in 2 separate occasions, right? Around the same time. So, of course, Bill Haney is there in this sport to protect his son as well, right? And I really do think that Eddie Hearn may feel that the Haneys are not loyal because as we talking about these changing of the trainers, right? These changing of atmosphere, changing of promoters right away, right? There's no loyalty. It seems like there's no loyalty, and Eddie Hearn was trying to explain that. Right after the Ryan Garcia fight, he was having a recent interview in which he was explaining about loyalty, in which they had a contract on the table for Devin Haney, and you know they was willing to do a fight, I believe, with Liam Pyro, but I guess that the Haneys didn't want to commit to the contract. and they wasn't committing. Matchroom was not committed to facilitate a fight with Devin Haney or do any business with Devin Haney if they're not going to commit to a contract, in which I think that's when Eddie Hearn was actually talking about loyalty. And he was also explaining the way that Bill was doing business and trying to talk to one promoter and then another promoter at the same time. Maybe he was trying to talk about how maybe they got that deal with Top Rank, and knowing that Lou DiBella was not cool with Eddie Hearn, and we know that Lou DiBella was a Camboso, so probably he was talking to Lou DiBella about Camboso, and there's a lot of things happening in behind the scenes in the sport of boxing, right? And I think that, with Eddie Hearn, he sees that, damn, yo, I made your son a lot of money, and the least you could do is come back and be loyal to us, right? And I think that you could see it both ways. You can see it both ways that, Bill Haney, like I said, he's a trailblazer. And Eddie Hearn said in the interview with Andre Ward, said he's a good businessman, right? He's a great businessman. So, maybe, especially in the sport of boxing like this, there's no such thing as loyalty. There's really not no such thing as loyalty in the sport of boxing and stuff like that. And I think that Bill Haney came into the sport of boxing thinking ain't nobody going to snake my son, pause. And he's not going to allow that. So I think that he was having the same business mind like promoters in the sport of boxing, right? We seen Eddie Hearn in the past say certain things about a fighter that is not signed to him, but then once he signed with him, then the fighter is all this great and dandy and the best ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, he was talking about Canelo Alvarez after he got popped dirty, and say that, people that pop dirty should be in the sport, right? And I'm just paraphrasing, but then he started working with Canelo Alvarez, and he forgot, and Canelo Alvarez is everything great for the sport, So we see some contradictions with promoters, right? When they talk about certain fighters that's not signed to them, then they sign them later on, and then they're the best ever, right? And probably if people want to see on Bill Haney's side is, at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's going to be loyal to my son, and y'all are only going to be in business with my son. I don't got to be. And the way that he constructed those type of contracts lets him go to, those short-term contracts. Let him go to Top Rank when he needed to go to Top Rank. Let him do deals with Golden Boy Promotions when he did them. Went back to Matchroom Boxing and did the pay-per-view with Regis Prograis. But I think that Eddie Hearn, you could sense that there's no loyalty when it comes to the Devin Haney to the Haneys. And if you look at their track records and how they deal with trainers and promoters and everybody else, there's really no type of loyalty there anyway. So I can understand where Hearn is coming from. I could look at a point. I could look at the point of the Haneys, if that's their point, that this is just business. The way that Eddie Hearn sees it, the way that Top Rank and Bob Arum sees it, the way that Oscar De La Hoya sees it. But there's also some good, business relations, right? And he was trying to allude to that Devin Haney is loyal, but Bill Haney made him sign the contract with Ryan Garcia, that there's a lot of mishaps in signing the deal signing the contract after Ryan Garcia did miss weight, and they was acting that they knew more in that situation, and where he was trying to explain that when Andre was trying to tell him, did you tell him about trying to get that rehydration clause in that new contract before you face Ryan Garcia? And they wanted to do their own thing, and that Bill Haney been trying to pump DHP. So I think this was the time and place that he feel the training wheel should be off, and he dealt how he felt he needed to deal with Ryan Garcia, in which I felt like it was a mistake, because I felt like Devin Haney should have never. I think that Bill Haney and Devin Haney should have never acted like there was some type of unchampion that's not in position to call some shots. I think they was acting desperate, in my opinion. I think they just, in my opinion, to be honest, I think they wanted to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis vicariously through the contracts or getting the type of fight, That's what I feel like. I think that they had Gervonta Tank Davis in their mind while dealing with Ryan Garcia in that fight. And I do think that Eddie Hearn hit on the nail when he was trying to explain how does Devin Haney move forward. I do think that the beating that he took from Ryan Garcia is going to take some time, mentally wise, physically wise. You already know how he responded in the interview after the fight, saying that he was questioning himself, questioning his team. Of course, that's normal, especially after a loss like that. I truly think that to move forward, in my opinion, I think they need to start with loyalty. I think they need to come up with a team that they're going to stay loyal to. It's not going to be switching trainers in each and every camp or something like that. They have to stay loyal to a system, to a staff, and to if they're going to deal with a promotional company, if they want to deal by themselves and flip the bill. You know what I'm saying? Just be loyal. So on the ups and downs, people are going to stay loyal to you. Because now, a top rank is like, oh, yeah, man, we'll deal with Devin Haney, but then he's just going to leave us. We're going to build some fighters. Why should we give him to Devin Haney? We're going to build some fighters on Matchroom. Why we got to give it to Devin Haney? Look, they already don't have a great relationship with Golden Boy Promotions. So now, the loss just didn't affect. And, of course, people are going to be like, he didn't lose. Look at his box rack. Ladies and gentlemen, Devin Haney lost the fight, okay? But I do think that Devin Haney needs some time, right? And I don't mean time off. I do think that he needs some time to, when they do hire that trainer, to really create that type of chemistry at this level, especially to regain back the position that he was in before the Ryan Garcia fight. I still think he got a brand name. I think that his name is still, lucrative enough to get some decent big fights. Not mega fights, but big fights. And if he could get, the rematch with Ryan Garcia, I think that's going to sell a lot. I think it's going to sell more than the first. I think that Teofimo Lopez fight will do good as well. Of course, the Tang fight will do well. Shakur Stevenson. But, of course, Devin Haney is set to move to the 147-pound division, in which they was talking about that as well. I don't know if that's a smart move. It seems like Devin Haney doesn't got a chin like that. And he got limited power. So I think that he's in real disadvantage to move up to the 147-pound division. But we'll see. But I think that they really do agree with Eddie Hearn on this one, that I think that they need to reestablish their system.